have to do a clap. Nice one. That was such a good one. That should just be in the show. Hold on a second here.
See, I feel like video recording this is a mistake because it's like, I like to imagine like when people hear us, they just imagine like we're in like a penthouse.
Right.
With a beautiful view looking over the city, and we have like a whole like podcast, like official podcast thing set up. And
we can do that. I mean, we can just do it at your house.
And then at my penthouse. But like instead they just see like two slobs in like a Milhouse's dad's apartment.
Hey man, it fucking shit ain't sweet. Like fucking this is like $28,000 a month to rent for Airbnb.
Jesus,
it's fucking ridiculous. I picked just the cheapest spot because it's the only one that had laundry.
Right, and
it's just like it's small, but it's like it's got an oven and a stove and laundry, and that's all I care about. That I don't have to leave and I can work on stuff. They had better places, but it's like $3,500 bigger, but like just they don't have that. They don't have. I'd have to go to a laundromat to do my laundry. Mm-hmm. Anyway, welcome back everybody to the show. We were going to talk about the 49th parallel, but I haven't watched it all, and he hasn't seen it in a long time. So we'll do it next time.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a good movie. But today we're going to be talking.
All Canadians should see that movie.
It definitely reinvigorated my Canadian patriotism. The first time I saw it, that's actually kind of the only thing I can remember.
That's sort of like your.
Let's hear it. What do you got to say here?
Like in Liberty Valance, like with the whole like civics lesson you get for the United States. The way that movie was for like people in America. 49th parallel is for Canadians.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, fuck. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just save it all for even just the story of what the 49th parallel is, like the film, and what it was made for, is as interesting as the film, but we will save that for next time. But yeah, today we're talking about we were either going to talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Basket Case. But I just feel like there's so much stuff on the internet about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it gets like it's on right now, by the way. Basket Case is on right now in the background with subtitles. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Basket Case is something that I like more, because I think that I'll tell you why I like it more. I think that this is falls right in the center of the discussion of horror films that make some sort of sexual perversion like their focus point, in the very same way that the great Stuart Gordon and Brian Usna and similarly David Cronenberg. Who else does that?
Sexual perversion horror.
Sexual perversion as like the engine of the horror, the center of the horror.
Did you say Stuart Gordon?
I did.
Well, what about David Cronenberg?
I said that guy too.
That's it.
Yeah.
Those are the two. And then Frank Henenlotter.
Frank Henenlotter, the director and
Brian
writer.
Usna, did you mention him?
I did. Who else is there who does that? There's got to be some Italians who do that too.
Well, I mean, if you're talking like all those Giallo murder ones, but like I don't know if I would put them in the same category as Texas Chainsaw or like Basket Case or Society or something.
Yeah, no, like there needs to be sort of an abstraction. Like
there has to be some kind of like horror, like mutant supernatural weirdness that happens.
Yeah,
it's not just like a guy with black gloves like killing naked women.
Yeah, it has to be like the sexual perversion is like abstracted into something bizarre, like into something, I guess, supernatural. In this movie, it is supernatural a little bit because there's a sort of an ESP element going on.
Well, it's also, the fact that this thing exists is fairly supernatural, that he's like existing and he's moving around and killing people. Like, if this thing was really alive, I don't think it would be able to. Like he doesn't even have like where are his lungs?
Oh, come on, man.
I also like how in Basket Case there's literally like 10 versions of the character. There's like a couple different puppets. Then there's like the stop motion one, and then there's like the one where they actually have like a man's face in like a Basket Case costume. So like it's almost like every time you see him, he's a little different.
I don't think that one, the one you just said, that there's like a guy like in makeup, I guess is what you mean. Like there's actually like a man's face in there.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's true. I think that it's just they took a cast of this guy's face and they're just puppeting it with like that.
Well, I mean, like this one is different from the one that we just saw when he popped out of the basket and scared the girl.
Yeah, because there's sort of a more monstery one.
But I guess I just sort of assumed that like this was like there was a guy in there like working it.
People often give, like, when this movie first came out, the crappy, quote unquote, crappy special effects were often, lambasted.
Great shot
with his red eye. Yeah, that's supernatural. Like, eyes don't light up like that. What the hell's going on with this guy? You know why they? Do they even call? What's his name again in this film? I actually know what it is. But
Belial?
That's right, it's Belial. Do they ever say his name in the film?
Oh yeah.
When? Yeah.
At the 44-minute mark? I don't know.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, do you like who? How do you know? Does he call him Belial?
I can't remember.
He doesn't ever in this movie. But the only time that you hear that you are, informed of his name is when the father says it, and he says it. He's like, he says like, this guy's penis is out now. He says,
he's like 90% bush though.
Yeah, it's like an egg in the nest. He's griping about how he's got this freaky son, one freak. I don't have two sons. I just got one freak. I want to save Dwayne. This other thing, it's a monster. It's a affront to God. If you want to name, I'm not going to name it. If you want a name for it, how about Belial? He says it in like anger. Okay. Belial being like an old Hebrew devil
name.
Yeah. But then in the second one, they're saying it left, right, and center. Like they've just decided, okay, that's what we're going to call him. Whereas in the first one, it's just sort of like a
throwaway.
Yeah. Even in this,
a throwaway insult. Even
in the subtitles, he says it, and when they say it, it's like, you want a name? How about? And then it says in brackets, it says indistinct. Like they don't even. It's the person who's doing the subtitles on Tubi didn't even register it. But okay, where to begin?
But does that happen at the 44-minute mark? Was I right?
You were right, actually.
Okay. So I didn't know that.
It happens at the 44th parallel. Where the fuck?
I always like on who?
The remote. It's here somewhere. Hold on. There it is.
I always liked when you'd hear those Mr. Skin moments.
Yeah.
On the Howard Stern show. And he would always be like, at the 44-minute mark.
Oh, okay. That's what you're referencing.
We see some major
hair pie.
Nip slippage.
Yeah.
Or a spread eaglage.
Yeah.
I miss those Mr. Skin minutes.
Yeah, well, you can always just go back to that enormous archive of Howard Stern clips that you have on Google Drive.
Oh, I will.
Have you listened to the Howard Stern show like recently?
No, I don't like it.
It sucks. This guy, my assistant director, like has it on in the car all the time when we're driving.
Yeah, I gave up.
It sucks. It's like, it's just Howard Stern being like, I don't wear shorts because my legs look terrible. and then Robin's like, Howard, you crazy for this one. And then like later on, she doesn't actually sound like that. But yeah, it's just, and then you're tuning out and you have a conversation about something, and then you go listen back to the radio and he's still talking about how he doesn't wear shorts in the summer or something. You're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And they have all that shit with like puppets. Do you ever see that?
Like I've seen the puppets, and the puppets are like like, I don't know if you remember, but they used to have like puppets back in the day.
Well, they had and they were like Gary puppet.
They had a Jackie puppet and they had a Gary puppet, and they were both very insulting.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the Gary puppet had like these big giant teeth.
Sure,
he looked like a monobrow, looked like a caveman idiot.
Right.
And now he literally looks like he just stepped right off of Sesame Street.
Yeah,
He looks like very cute.
Yeah,
very nice.
Right.
Everybody looks like it's sort of strange to have puppets on the radio in general. Like that concept, puppets on the radio, isn't a great one.
No.
But to have it be something where it's like there's nothing funny about it. I mean, I'm not really sure what the joke is anymore, other than like, oh, we made a puppet of Gary.
No, that's just that's what you just call, riding the wave of brand recognition, to the very end. People just watch it because it's like, oh, I liked Howard Stern.
I think he's just he's coasting, he's old, he's tired, he's making a lot of money doing nothing. So
Howard Stern fucking sucks.
Go back and listen to 2008.
He didn't always suck, but he sucks now. So anyways, and that kind of brings us back to in a roundabout way, Basket Case, because I like a lot how this monster looks in this movie. In fact, I don't like how it looks in the sequels. This is where it looked the best.
Yeah, I don't remember the sequels all that well. I just remember not like they're amusing, I guess, but also I feel like just the era and where this movie is filmed plays an enormous part of why it works.
Yeah, it being kind of like a Manhattan.
Yeah, like New York, 70s, flop house, and just sort of like being part of that sort of, grindhouse movie scene in the 70s is it makes it like it gives it this authenticity to it that it doesn't have in the later movies.
Okay, so we got to start talking about this fucking movie. So it starts off and there's like this doctor and he's being stalked around.
They're not spelling it right.
What did they spell?
Bellyle. It's like Belial.
Oh, so he does say so.
The boy just said.
The boy just said. Okay, so my
He's
bad.
Like, Belial, where are you?
They do say it one more time in the movie, but I guess maybe all I'm trying to say is that it's the father that names him.
Who else is going to name their son?
But can you let me finish? Just as an insult,
the garbage man.
As an insult, he names him okay, let's call him.
I think my dad named me as an insult too.
He named you after what he should have
himself.
He named you after what he regrets not wearing on
Trojan.
His penis. Yeah. So anyways, so that we start out and there's a fucking doctor that gets killed, like his face gets scratched. You don't see what did it. And then we cut to like Dwayne and his basket. And then what happens?
Isn't he like checking into that hotel?
He certainly is.
He checks into some like Times Square flop house with his basket. And at this point, you're not really sure what's in the basket.
Yeah. And what's his temperament?
He seems like a hillbilly square, hayseed nerd with an enormous head of hair.
Yeah. And he also seems very friendly. And that's the thing. That's kind of the thing about this film that I like is that he actually is right from the get-go on a mission to kill a couple doctors, but he really doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would do that.
Well, I kind of was under the impression that not that he's against what's going on, but Belial's running point on the mission.
Absolutely. But don't you think that he would be, a little bit more like, kind of like your friend dragging you into a store to help him shoplift or something and you're nervous?
Yes. But I do feel like, Dwayne is I mean, he's definitely on board. He doesn't have the rage that Belial has.
No, he does have rage for how Belial is treated, though. He loves his brother, and he doesn't like. He hates the doctors because of how
Not only does he love his brother, he loves his brother being attached to him. Like isn't that like part of the second one? Like they want to be like reattached or something?
Well, that's how the second one ends. He's like, we put ourselves back together. And then that's the final shot.
So like that is sort of an element to their relationship. Like the fact that they're separated, they hate it. And it's not just like they tried to kill Belial. I think it's like the fact that they separated them.
Yeah. He says that when they were kids, the movie kind of lets you, it starts with a mystery, and it kind of, the mystery revolves around what's in this basket. You see him order hamburgers, and he just tosses hamburgers into the basket and something in there's eating them. And you're just kind of like, oh, what's in there? There's something weird's in there. Is it a little monster? Is it a dog? Is it a dog?
Is it an iguana?
Is it a fucking monkey? You have no idea. And then slowly, the reveal of Belial the first time when you see him like on that wall when he kills, I guess the first doctor, the one whose secretary that Dwayne makes friends with, that's actually shocking. Like to actually see what this whole thing is about, like to kind of have it all come into sight in that instant where he turns the lights on is very fantastic.
That particular face of there's some beautiful shots of Twin Towers.
Yep. Never forget
that particular face of Belial with the scream and the fangs. I mean, it's great. The
first time you see him, though, it's just the neutral, the creepy, almost like Michael Myers mask looking face.
Okay.
And then he, what does he do? He jumps on the guy, and then he just like puts his claws into his belly and rips him apart. By the way, that was an inspiration for when the character Kevin dies in The Sadness, just to do it that same way, where you just have a face and just be spraying someone from beneath with blood and throwing chunks of stuff up at them.
Who's Kevin?
He's the little fat guy who saves them at the subway, in the subway tunnel. And he's like,
okay.
He's got the little porno thing on his phone.
It's funny that nobody in the movie calls him Kevin.
Yeah, no, he's just called Kevin in the script. In the credits it says MRT attendant, and then in brackets it says Kevin. No one calls him Kevin in the script.
A funny little piece of trivia.
His name's Kevin. Yeah, and then that whole bit right there was an inspiration. This movie was, this is just one of those things that everybody sees when they're younger, and they, it's one of the good ones. It's right up there with something like Evil Dead, or I don't know what else.
Dawn of the Dead. Just like it's a piece of a puzzle. Like there was nothing else really like this. Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2 with the gay gym teacher with the rough trade leather daddy bar.
Cruising.
Okay. What about this character, Casey?
She might have the most glossed lips in any movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, I know. I was saying that. I was thinking that earlier as well. It's like those are some very, very shiny lips. Look at the photography here. This is some what you call deep focus, where you can have someone in the foreground and someone also in the background. Yeah, you're not seeing it anymore, but what it means is that like there's not like a huge difference in what do you call it? Like sort of depth of field. Like it's all open. It's something that is usually in older films, like the classics. Like oftentimes people will shit on newer films for overutilizing narrow depths of field, where like things are like in focus and then other things in the background are out of focus. But like in older films, they keep everything in focus, and it'll be like wider shots. That used to be what was thought of as cinematic, is like shooting something and letting the audience see everything, as opposed to like narrowing, kind of like choosing what they see with focus. Mm-hmm. But I just was noticing that when I was reviewing it today. There's a lot of deep focus in this. You know how much they made this movie for?
I'm going to say 10 grand.
More.
11 grand.
One more guess.
12.
It was made for $35,000.
That was close.
No, I guess so. So anyways, so the guy is walking around, there's a mystery and everything. We already talked about how like the first doctor dies. Everything gets revealed when Dwayne gets drunk at the bar and he starts to tell his story to Casey, to the glossy-lipped sex worker. And then there's a flashback, and then we are revealed the entire story. And how does that story go?
You mean the story about how he was separated from his brother when he was a kid?
Yeah.
It was against his will.
Mm-hmm.
And he wakes up after the forced operation, finds that his brother's missing, and goes looking for him, finds him in the garbage.
How does he know where he is?
They have some kind of psychic connection, right?
Ooh, that's it, exactly.
But that's sort of like how we learned about Belial's psychic powers.
Yeah, the way it works is that they could talk to each other. They could talk to each other when they were connected psychically.
He's wearing a wig.
Him?
Her.
I don't know.
I've always wondered, it looks very wig-like.
No, only her hairdresser knows for sure. I was going to say that. They were able to talk to each other via some sort of ESP, and then when they got disconnected, Belial can still talk to him, but he has to use his voice to talk to Belial, mm-hmm. and Belial knows what he's thinking too, and I think that's how he's able to kind of manipulate. I think that Belial is, manipulating this guy.
Well, there's also there's that weird segment when Dwayne is at home and or at the apartment, and then Belial crawls up on his chest and does this kind of psychic
for the eyes turn red
eye thing to him, and then then Dwayne has the dream of running nude through the streets,
right?
And cut to the blonde girlfriend lady sleeping in her bed, and she feels kind of horny. She feels like somebody's touching her, and she comes to, and Belial's on top of her. Mm. So there's some kind of implied some sort of psychic, did he how did he get there? Some kind of psychic transportation? He just sort of mentally caused himself to appear there?
No, I mean the Dwayne running down the street naked mm-hmm. is just Belial. That's how Dwayne's having a dream, and he's interpreting Belial's otherwise horribly animated stop motion journey down the sidewalk.
Because I guess it is sort of implied that if things went well and there was no medical issues, mm-hmm. they would be twins.
Yeah.
So Dwayne and Belial would literally be identical twins. And the nude, so you're saying the nude Dwayne running down the street is Belial's
self-image?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Or at least it's yeah, and then Dwayne, it's the dream is happening inside Dwayne's head. So it's how Belial sees himself on his way over to to Dwayne's girlfriend's house.
But we, the audience, kind of think that, oh, this is Dwayne going over to the girlfriend's house.
Naked.
So the fact that these two minds are completely interwoven at this point, and sort of psychically moving around the city. It's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely like the psychic aspect of Basket Case is not discussed very often. That's why we're here, folks. Anyway, yeah. So like, you know, the shocking scene at the end where Belial goes and like he starts kind of like manually stimulating this girl, and then she wakes up and she screams, and Belial I guess I like to think he panics and he kills her, and then Dwayne realizes something's wrong, and he runs over there and he sees Belial kind of like fucking her, like, or at least kind of doing something.
Yeah, it's not clear what his sexual abilities are because he doesn't appear to have genitals, although he might.
Yeah, maybe
it's not
pops out like Fabian.
Maybe like it's hard to tell. I guess we just assume that he's got something.
The whatever's going on, the intention there is sexual. Whether or not he's got a penis or not.
But also, I think there's a lot of it's jealousy too. Like the fact that Dwayne can have this girl and he can't because he's a fucking disgusting blob.
Yeah.
And so there is an anger there. There's resentment. I think, is he just going over there to fuck her, or is he going over there to fuck her and kill her, or is he just going over there to kill her?
I would think the middle one. It's a little from column A, a little from column B. Mm-hmm. He's going over there. He's incredibly frustrated, and it's a funny look that he just gave. He's incredibly frustrated, and there's no. He doesn't belong in the world, and this is the way in to the pleasures of women for him, And then, but then also, yeah, like the whole fucking jealousy thing is right there. Dwayne brings it up. He's like, is it, I think he says, this is the first time I ever even kissed a girl, and you have to ruin it for me.
Right.
Why do I have to suffer? Why do I have to suffer the same way that you do? Like, why don't I have it's not my fault that you're the way you are. Why can't I live my life? Like, why can't I have the happiness that I can have, why do I have to kind of sacrifice it just because you're suffering? I think is the whole, the problem. It's all this is not a very difficult film to read.
So he has to put Belial over in the corner while he secretly makes a date with the secretary. Right,
exactly.
So Belial doesn't hear, even though Belial's literally in his mind all the time.
Well, he's doing his best.
But I mean, I can't remember. Is there like a, because I'm assuming he just killed that doctor.
Just now?
Yeah. Oh, no, I guess not.
No.
All right, never mind.
Yeah. Just making sure I'm still recording here. Yeah, so, yeah, great. So then, at the end of everything, there's a big blowout, and Belial is snatched up by Dwayne. They run back to the apartment. The cat's out of the bag. Everyone sees Belial. It's a big fucking meshagas. And then Belial lifts up Dwayne by his genitals up into the air in a pretty funny scene. Mm-hmm. And then jumps on Belial, throws him. Is this a commercial or is this in the movie?
It's supposed to be in the movie.
Oh, they go to watch a kung fu movie.
Looks like they're watching Street Fighter. Mm. Oh, this guy's going to make a big mistake and steal the basket.
Oh, he goes to steal the basket. That's right. And he falls asleep. Maybe even, actually, that doesn't make any sense. I was going to say maybe Belial's putting him to sleep, but no, I don't think that Belial really wants to kill that guy for any reason. But anyways, yeah, whatever. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here. This is also kind of to your point of this being like a Flophouse kind of gritty late 70s New York thing.
Yeah, just to like hang out at the movie theater all day and fall asleep.
Oh no, the basket's gone. Oh no, fucking Julio fucking stole it. Okay, we're getting a little bit of a we're getting a little bit of a live commentary right now while Belial kills the guy in the movie theater bathroom. Oh, it looks like he took a chunk out of his face.
Just got Belialed.
Yeah. So anyway, at the very end of the film, Dwayne is hanging from like a high sign or whatever the fuck. And then all these people are out in the street, all these streetwalkers. They're all like, oh my God, look at that. And then they both fall and they smash their faces on the ground and they're
dead.
Supposedly
That's
dead.
the end.
That should be the end. But the film was such a huge hit that Frank Henenlotter couldn't resist but make a sequel. And we're not going to really talk about them because I don't even like the second one. A lot of people tell me that they like the second one.
I don't even remember the second one at all.
They're just it's exactly you know what, this is a good. We should talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre as well because there's a perfect segue because I hear people defend Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 all the time, and I hate it. I cannot fucking stand it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go that far. Like, it's not like I can't stand it, but I definitely don't. I definitely find it disappointing.
Well, it's just everything that I like about regarding Basket Case. Everything that I love about Basket Case is not in part 2. Like the whatever magic that made it work is just not present in part 2. And instead they focus on, I guess, all this other crap that I feel like they thought that I liked it for, but it's just not there. And the same thing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
But then also 3 is just like completely silly.
Basket Case or
Basket Case 3.
Yeah, Basket Case. Honestly, I don't see much of a difference between part 2 and part 3.
For some reason, I can't remember anything about part 2, but part 3, I remember there's like all these kind of goofy. It's like some kind of orphanage for goofy.
That's all part 2, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all part 2. And then part 3 just doubles down, and Bilal gets like a fucking mech.
Wife. He gets a wife.
He gets a wife. He gets like a robotic like mech suit. It's just a fucking. It's a disaster.
It's goofy.
It's a disaster. It's not funny either. Like there's nothing funny about it. There's all sorts of attempts at intentional comedy that just aren't working. It sucks. And the same thing I feel about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's not a good time, and all the funny stuff just isn't funny. Bill Moseley, God bless him, I love that guy, but like he's a terrible substitute for the guy who gets run over in part 1.
Edwin. I'm blanking on his name.
It doesn't matter, but he's Chop Top in part 2. I always thought it was the same guy. Right, it's supposed to, because he gets run over in part 1, and then it's like, okay, so that's him.
Yeah,
he's got a metal plate.
He's amazing, and that actor Edwin O'Neill.
Okay,
I think that's his name.
Yeah,
he's fucking great.
Yeah, he's good. That the scene in the van is cool.
The scene in the van is great, but then when they go back to the house,
yeah, that's where he really shines.
And the interaction between the family, especially like him and the dad, like yelling at each other.
Yeah, too bad we have to have the sound off, because so much of what I like about this movie is the sound design and the score. And just like, I've been telling people too, I've been trying to cast somebody to play Stump for Crossed. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with that character?
No.
He's a guy who's got no arms and no legs and no eyes.
Okay.
And they just carry him around in a backpack, and he's got sort of, they kind of explain it that because he's got no eyes and no stimulation, because his hands and feet are gone, or his legs and arms are gone. Okay. He can hear better and he can smell better, and he's sort of like a hound or something, or like a.
Oh, okay.
But I choose to believe that he actually, similar to Belial, has some sort of low level ESP where it's beyond just hearing and smelling. It's some sort of extra awareness that he's able to utilize to locate people, because they used him as sort of a human compass to just sort of find people who are trying to escape them, the gang, the Crossed gang. But I've been telling the people who it's all been like little people that I've been interviewing, and I'm just like, you just need to kind of, you ever see Texas Chainsaw Massacre? You just need to act like Leatherface. Like that's kind of the extent of the character, you know. It's non-verbal, but plenty vocal. and you just have to kind of come off as like a dumb. It's actually a little bit difficult to basically tell a little person that the character is just like a horrific little freak, you know, because it's like, yeah, I don't know, it sucks. There's one of the guys I looked on his Instagram and he has a video of like where what are you talking about? Just one of the guys that I interviewed for Crossed. Just a little sidebar here, folks. He goes to like a store and then some guy starts filming him at like a 7-Eleven being like, hey, how tall are you, bro? And the guy's just like, yo, stop filming me, guy. And then and this guy's just like harassing him, like for being a little guy. And then I'm just like, damn, like that's gotta suck. This guy was just minding his own business and just some guy just starts fucking giving him shit for no reason. He's just standing there like just waiting to pay for gas or something, you know? And it just made me feel sad because I have to, you know, talk to him and say, hey, we want to put you in a silicone suit and we want you to kind of just drool and act like a fucking deformed freak. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit troubling. I mean,
but I don't know if I got an acting job and they were like, we want you to play a drooling deformed freak. I'd be like, that sounds great.
Yeah. I don't feel that bad about it. And like, I mean, the guy's an adult and whatever, but like, obviously it's a little different than, you know, because you haven't been called a drooling deformed freak your entire life, you know?
Not
yet. Okay, so Texas Chainsaw Massacre opens with, was it John Larroquette giving
Night Court,
right? Giving the speech, which is endlessly featured in, you know, metal songs and Mortician song in general, probably a couple actually. No, they really do that in I think almost all of them. Like Texas Chainsaw 2 and 3, they always start with that narrated preamble. It sounds kind of like, I don't know, like Unsolved Mysteries or something. Like I guess some Unsolved Mysteries is later, but just some.
What makes it sound very official?
Yeah. That's what it sounds like. I thought it was true. You probably did too when you first saw it. Did you think it was true? Like, did you think it was based on a true story?
I can't remember. I mean, I definitely. I have no memory about like when I first saw it. Like, did I think it was true? I don't know. I don't think so.
Really, I did.
I think I was watching a movie.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a documentary, but I thought it was based on. I used to think when someone told me someone was based on a true story, I used to just take that. Okay, well, you know, if they lied about that, they'd all go to jail. You know, you can't just do that. You can't just say something is true. But then I found out later that you totally can. Like Fargo, for example.
But I mean, like, you can say that about any movie. It's based on something that's true.
Yeah, I know. Look, you know, I mean, I wanted to believe. But then it opens with just that shot of that defiled corpse. Mm-hmm. And there's
all those radio.
We'll get to that later. I know you're about to talk about that. Happens a little bit later, but it's like you mean the flashes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
Which is a great, you know, like these photography flashes of like close-ups of corpses and shit, and it's almost like you're getting just a hint of what happened in the cemetery or like what was going on in the cemetery. You know, later on you see the hitchhiker. He's got like one of those Polaroid-esque cameras that he has in the van. So it's clearly him digging up corpses, taking photos of the corpses.
Yeah. Do you remember how they do those scenes in Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer where they just show the aftermath of the murder and then they just play the audio of the murder happening?
I don't remember that. I do remember like when they're sitting around like having like because they have a camcorder.
Yeah. Not that part, but okay, you talk about that part.
But yeah, so like they have a camcorder and they start filming their murders, home invasions, whatever. And they're just like you just watch them watching, like especially like Otis, like he's just like he can't stop, like he loves watching,
killing
people, like over and over again. It's disturbing.
Yeah, I'm talking like, and that part is more disturbing than what I'm talking about. But I do like sort of from a thrifty filmmaker's perspective, like, you get just sort of some women and you make them all up to look like they've been brutalized, and the type of makeup, the type of trauma that you can see on them kind of tells a story about what they went through. And then you hear the audio of it happening and her screaming and then him, "Take it over here, you fucking," just kind of this kind of thing. And the sounds of hitting and stabbing and all that kind of stuff. And then also another thing that I just caught recently, just completely by chance, was that scene in From Dusk Till Dawn when Quentin Tarantino kills or rapes and kills that bank teller early on in the film. Do you recall this?
No.
So George Clooney like leaves to go run an errand,
right? And
then he comes back and he leaves Quentin Tarantino with this bank teller that they've kept as a hostage, and she's like this, like 48-year-old, terrified, kind of chubby MILF. Bank teller. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say she's a MILF by any stretch. She looks like a bank teller, but not the good kind. And she just seems like a nice lady, is all I'm saying. And then George Clooney comes back and he's like, "Where's the girl? Where's the woman? Where the hell did you put her?" And he's like, "Oh, she's in the bedroom." And he goes in to look, and he just opens the door, and the camera's in the room, and it's looking at George Clooney, and he's just standing there, and he's like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" And then it's actually a really great piece of acting from George Clooney, and I guess maybe to some extent Quentin Tarantino, but not so much. But what they do is like occasionally Robert Rodriguez, famously edits most of his films. He edited that one too, and he puts in a little flash, like a 2-frame flash of what George Clooney is seeing. Uh-huh. I don't know that he was influenced by this, but if he said he was, I wouldn't be surprised. Just interesting ways. Like, you're always trying to come up with interesting ways to kind of show violence, or to not show it, or to like imply it. Like, sometimes there are definitely ways to imply violence that make it more horrific than just showing it. Well, actually, maybe just showing it is probably the most horrific thing you can do. I mean,
it can depend. Like, sometimes you'll see some violence and it's poorly executed, and it just looks
like a put on.
Yeah, it looks like a put on. Like watching a lot of those, like, straight to like made on video, shot on video type horror movies.
Did you ever see Megan is Missing?
No.
Yeah, me neither. That's a video that people always bring up as just this is just showing something. It's just a shot on video thing of just a girl being like tortured and degraded and stuff.
Yeah, those can get kind of boring. But then there's times where like you could just like hear like there's something going on the other side of that door, and you can hear it, and that can be more impactful. Sometimes
you want to show stuff, and sometimes you do want to show stuff. A good example of that is like Jacoby and Myers commercial.
The guy's like wearing robot legs.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man.
He's practicing on his robot legs.
Yeah, America, has got the best health service in the world, if you can afford it. But what was I talking about again?
You were talking about Jacoby and Myers.
Oh, okay. Have you been in a car accident and it wasn't your fault? Call us at Jacoby and Myers. I remember there was this Toronto like class action lawsuit law firm commercial, and it was like, have you lost a lot of money recently gambling, and you've also been taking one of these 3 medications? Mm-hmm. Because if that's you, then call us, and we're putting together this class action lawsuit for this medication that like makes people want to gamble more. And I looked into it. I was like, what? Like, this is just on regular TV. And I was just like, what the fuck? And it turns out that there's this one medication that just kind of increases people's like propensity towards risk taking. Mm-hmm. And there's one guy who did it, and he ended up like
A millionaire?
No, yeah, no. He ended up fucking a man. He ended up like having gay sex with some gay hooker or something. He was I want to do something.
That's
risky.
the excuse that I would. I must have taken that drug.
Oh, I took too many aspirins, and I ended up
sucking off a guy.
Yeah,
I took a risk.
yeah, I took a risk. Fucking really rolled the dice on that one, but so what is it? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh yeah, sorry. I was gonna say, when's a good place to show something? I said violence, but to show something horrific, and just show it for what it is. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is like the scene in Hellraiser where the guy comes back from the dead out of the floor. But like that's a little different because it's disgusting, but it's not like an act of violence. It's not like an act of brutalizing another person. Yeah. So, but it's gross, I mean, it's in terms of the gross out factor, that's there. But I mean, then you have something like the ultimate example, which is
that movie Michael, when he's having sex with that kid in his basement.
They don't show that ever.
That's what I'm saying. You don't see the horror.
Right. Well, okay. Well, how about Irreversible? When that whole rape scene, that's like the ultimate example of just showing it from beginning to end.
Rub your face in it.
Is there value in that? I think so. But
I mean, I don't have a problem with that scene. I just have a problem with like the movie as the whole movie. Yeah. I feel like it doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've talked about that a little bit before. I think that scene, it's not even that I don't have a problem with it. I think that scene's like, I'm happy it exists. I think that it's important that scene exists. Mm-hmm. But, we can
also talk about like Straw Dogs, which has the sort of double rape moment.
What's the double rape moment in Straw Dogs?
At the very end, I guess, I don't know exactly. It's towards the end when all the English guys lure Dustin Hoffman out into the woods for a hunting adventure.
Oh, that's not the end. That's like in the middle.
Oh, whatever.
Go on. Keep going.
It's at the 47-minute mark.
It's at the 47-minute mark. You see some nip slip action.
So then a couple of the guys slip back to the house to
rape the girl.
Actually, one goes back to the house to rape the girl, and then once he's done, another one is sort of like, "Hey, now it's my turn."
That's right.
And the one that just raped her kind of had like that was like her old boyfriend or something. Like, she had feelings for her, but he still raped her.
Well, no, let me just expound upon what you're saying.
Right.
He has to force his way like into her, so to speak, mm-hmm. but she eventually kind of like softens to it and enjoys it.
Right.
And then he just like lets his friend do it, and she doesn't enjoy that.
No, the friend like I think, doesn't he like pull out he holds a rifle on him. He's like, "It's my turn." And I get the sense that like the first guy kind of was like,
"This is my old girlfriend."
Oh, well, I guess, there's nothing I can do. So this other guy has to take a turn.
Yeah. I think you remember it better than I do. All that really matters is that the first, like let's just say that it's complicated the first time around. Like it's okay, and then you kind of are like, "Oh, what a bitch," like you blame her a little bit.
You definitely, she like from the very beginning, she's
provoking them.
So it's sort of like, it's a really, difficult rape sequence. Probably, you can probably put it up there with maybe one of the most.
We're not even talking about I Spit on Your Grave. That's a great example.
The old one or the new one?
Both.
That is a good example.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's sort of like, this is a really challenging sequence, but I think, Straw Dogs and I Spit on Your Grave, the first one and the remake are both better than Irreversible.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're different things. Anyway, I definitely would rather. I think Straw Dogs is definitely a better film than Irreversible. That's for damn sure. But I don't know that I Spit in Your Grave is a better film than Irreversible.
I think so.
I know you do.
I like movies that start at the beginning and end at the end, not the other way around.
Not me. I like it when things are
I like the
backwards and upside down.
Beginning at the end.
I like it when a woman has a penis and a man has a vagina.
I like taking risks.
I like rolling the dice. So yeah, we're supposed to be talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and we haven't really gotten past like the sequence before the title reveal. I love I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, oh boy, this is a true story. This is the real deal, you know? And then, you have that scene, you have the preamble, then you have the scene with the desecrated corpse and those flashes and the radio talking about how there's like a epidemic of murders and whatnot happening in Texas. And then you get the title card and all the single card credits. And it's like shots of like, solar flares and prominences or whatever those called, like those like sun phenomenon happening.
Prostitutes.
Prominences. I don't know how to say the word. I'll type it in that's what the episode will be called, this one.
Okay.
But anyways, I always thought that was brilliant. Just that sun photography, because it's kind of just like this. It's it's like the sun. Like how often do you fucking think about the sun? Like kind of never. It's just there all the time. But it's just this, crazy like hellish surface with all this crazy, dangerous, powerful activity happening on it, and it's like, I don't know. It feels like this fucking thing in the sky is just like driving everyone insane or something. I guess there's also they're maybe linking it back to this fucking astrology stuff. That's probably what the explanation is that it's there's a lot of emphasis on like this astrology book, and it's like, right. Oh, Saturn is in retrograde, so they're trying to show some kind of like, but then why don't they just show like the stars or whatever? Like there's an emphasis on the sun, like just the sun is the king of the stars, right? That's true. that's what I tend to call it, actually. But yeah, I don't know. I just always thought that just felt, that's one of those things that just always felt really right to me, and my own personal interpretation of just like, just hot Texas, hot sun, and just these people getting irradiated under it all day and turning into weird human monsters. That's the way I took it as a young boy. But going forward, the first bit of this movie is just so, I think, so clear. And anyone who probably listens to this fucking podcast is probably very clear in all of their minds too. But I don't know. Is there any kind of like new or hot take you have on Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Probably like some of the comedy elements, I think, get overlooked. I think Franklin has some really funny moments when he falls down the hill pissing into a can. Like they really kind of lean into this fat guy in a wheelchair and fucking with him. Cause he constantly just has a really rough time of it. And there's just something funny about watching him being abused and whining.
You love that though.
I do.
That's your favorite thing in the world.
In this movie, it is definitely, I love quoting Franklin. There's Edwin.
What's his name in this movie?
It's just a hitchhiker.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he has a name. Belial. So like, yeah, when he falls down the hill and then like there's lots of funny shit from Edwin, especially when he's in the house and he's arguing with his dad. There's really funny lines.
All right.
So that, he said that like it'll come up soon, but like he's got a really funny line that he says to his dad.
Mm-hmm. Everyone always talks about the part where that girl is on the swing and then the camera kind of like has that low angle and follows her. And then she goes into the house and then the door comes open and it totally freaked out everybody.
Or even that sequence in when they bring Grandpa down the stairs and he's like,
they have to give
you don't even know if he's alive.
Yeah. When he comes back to like that scene where she approaches the house and she's got that top on that's just over her back is exposed and those shorts. And then she like goes in and she gets, she tries to run away and he comes out of the door and grabs her and like pulls her back in. Like that's like pretty perfect. And then, and scary, you know, like it shocked me when I was a young tyke, a young whippersnapper. Also, yeah, when they bring the grandpa down the stairs.
This is a great line. Look what your brother did to the door.
Yeah.
See, like, it's like, there's like lots of stuff like that I feel like people don't comment on that.
Yeah. The part where they cut one of her they prick one of her fingers and they let the grandfather suck on her finger and it's like, oh God, he's alive. Like,
yeah, that was.
It's like, what the fuck? Also the part where they open where the guy goes in and he opens the freezer and that girl moves inside and then you have that high pitched sound.
Oh yeah.
That part scared me too. What else scared me in this? The part just.
I feel like when I first saw this film, I didn't like it.
Why not?
I was disappointed. I felt like I saw a second or third generation VHS copy. Mm-hmm. I felt like there wasn't enough chainsawing. There wasn't enough gore. There wasn't enough, crazy.
Yeah, you wanted it to be like a fucking, a bloodbath. Like
something more like Pieces or,
yeah, something Italian.
Or even Dawn of the Dead. Like,
sure.
I wanted something like that, and I didn't appreciate
the artistry.
Yeah, and so it took me a few years to kind of like revisit it and realize like this is great.
Yeah, it's great because of like probably all the stuff that you didn't like about it, like all the restraint that it has is kind of what makes it great.
Like I wanted this immediate like feeling of like look at all this crazy gore and tits and fucking crazy shit, and I didn't feel like it was living up to that expectation, but so I was blind to all the great stuff that was going on because I was wanting all this other stuff.
Yep, you're at the fucking you're at Hooters.
Or like Evil Dead, like, I loved Evil Dead, and that movie has, it's like crazy, seeing that as a teenager, and like it's just completely batshit crazy.
You saw this before you saw Evil Dead, though, probably.
I saw them both simultaneously. My uncle gave me a VHS burn of this movie and Evil Dead on the same tape.
What I was saying before is that you're at Hooters and you're ordering the oysters and you're complaining that the oysters aren't good.
Right. Whatever that means.
It means that
there's some shit that doesn't mean anything.
You're going to the fucking you're going to Japan and you're complaining about how the fucking the pizza isn't good. Like you're not in the right spot.
Actually, the pizza in Japan is pretty good.
Really? Not that good.
It's better than Los Angeles pizza.
I had the worst fucking pizza the other day. The production bought pizza like for a table read. I don't know, for some fucking spot, but it was gross. I was like, this sucks. Like I'm in America. I should have like at least good pizza. But yeah, I mean, okay, great. So that's Johnny's hot take on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's a lot of funny lines. Like how the guy says the guy broke the door.
Or like even that scene that they just had where like the dad's interrogating him, like, you killed everybody? Like, did you do everything I told you?
Right.
And then the Leatherface is like,
yeah.
And then like the dad's like trying to think of a reason to beat him. And then he's like, you ruined the door. And he starts beating him again. Like, that's funny.
It is funny. It is funny.
So admit it.
I am. What else am I doing right now other than admitting it? What else am I doing right now other than agreeing with you? How does yeah, there we go. Oh, by the way, we have Texas Chainsaw Massacre on right now. Basket case, we turned off before. I don't know if I mentioned that. But anyways, it just goes like this for a while, and then she ends up like running upstairs and then jumping out the window. And then Black Maria saves. Ooh, there you go. This is the part that I like. Black Maria saves her at the end, throws a wrench at Leatherface.
Forgot about Black Maria.
Yeah.
That's a great scene. Even that amazing ending with him swinging the chainsaw in front of the sun.
Yeah, it's crazy how, like, again, how well does that work in this movie, and how just awful and stupid is it in the second movie when that girl does it.
I don't even remember.
Yeah,
I like that. Like when they just like pull back, and then she's like coming to, and then she's.
Oh, look, they're going to give us an ad break right at this point.
And she wakes up and she's looking at a Jacoby Myers.
Yeah. Well, I know what we got here. Maybe it's going to be the guy with the robot
Maybe
legs.
she's looking at Shop Cart, whatever it is. Progressive.
Yeah.
She's looking at the progressive woman.
The dad teaching the daughter how to shave her legs.
She starts screaming.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, yeah. Like, okay, so for Basket Case, let's get our ratings out. We think we pretty much knocked out an hour.
5 and 5, 2 5s.
Yeah.
10 eggplants all together.
Yeah. Basket Case is a 5. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is also a 5. Those are 2 perfect films. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.